Just AD carries just not as good anymore due to the recent changes again?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing from my players, the AD carries are not too hot right now. So that's great meta for G2, right? And I hear that Cassio is on the rise. Rise is on the rise.
Vladimir will never get nerfed. You will get an 05 Yasuo in every one of your ranked games. NA will win worlds.
Hey man, got trouble sleeping? Try Brain Effect Sleep.
What are you doing in my home?
Hello everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, once again joined by Joy, of course. A win against Origen, fairly important right now, because obviously the team didn't look so hot in the last few games. What went wrong against Misfits in particular?
Not very happy with the draft, and also not far from happy with the execution. I think our players should be able to win lanes against academy level players, I would say. They did not, and then our draft was not good enough to carry. So that was a real blower.
Real blower, of course. The game against Rogue was also a bit of a real blower there. What kind of went wrong there?
I kind of forgot that game already.
It's already deleted.
Selective memory, yeah.
Selective memory, okay. Maybe it's better to not talk about it, but it was a bit of an unfortunate situation for Magi Felix, I felt like. I mean, as a coach, how do you go to your academy player who really tried to carry his butt off on that corki and go like, unlucky?
No, I apologized, and afterwards I also really thanked him for the entire week because he was with us for most of the week. And I made sure that he knew it was not his fault because it really was not his fault.
He really tried his best. Can we? Is he going to be a part of Fnatic in the future? For example, for playoffs or for Worlds? Given that I think for Worlds is it 2 substitution slots you get?
Yeah. So orgs are allowed to use a second substitute. We are probably going to use it. But at this point, I don't want to lock in who that is. There's people in the running for that position, and maybe we also decide against it. It's just I don't want to make that decision right now when Worlds is a few months from now. You know, anything can change. Like if it was today, could be Magi Felix, but maybe in 2 months, someone else from the academy team is really stepping it up and someone we want to bring with us.
That's fair. So that said, though, Fnatic fans have obviously been a bit of low-key in panic mode, of course, due to the results of the last few weeks. Can you assure them or give them a bit more input on what the situation was like and how the team intends to fix the issues for the upcoming weeks and last weeks of the split, of course?
Yeah, we're also a bit in panic mode. People thought that we lost because of the roster change last week, and I think yesterday we proved that was not the reason we lost. It was just actually that we are not playing very well. And even today we played like shit and got lucky with the Baron. So thank you, Mr. Reckless, for stealing the Baron because the game was actually over there. So yeah, we're very unhappy with our level of play right now and with our practice. The drafts are not that great either from my side, so we have a lot to work on, and we are aware of it, but how am I going to fix it? I don't know yet. One step at a time.
Okay, one step at a time. So the roster changes didn't affect that at all. Is it like when I talked with Youngbuck, for example, last week, he was like, one of the reasons why Origen is struggling is because we kind of lost our fundamentals at one point because we focused on details rather than the grand picture. Is that something that Fnatic's looking at as well, maybe?
Not necessarily, but I think we as a team maybe just want to select a few champions per person and say, well, you're going to play this even if it doesn't fit in the draft, and then we're going to win the game. And we always get these champions on stage anyway. Because all our players have deep enough champion pools that they cannot get banned out. So it should always work. We have like 4 or 5 champions per person that they will always bring the game home with. And then, of course, Bupo experiments a little bit here and there. He's like the only one who's like all over the place. Rengar, yeah, literally all over the place. So, yeah.
Pretty good joke. I was going to ask you about that Rengar top lane. Is this like a weird pick we should just see 1 or 2 times occasionally, or is it actually going to become a thing now?
It will become a thing.
Okay.
I'm not going to say other teams are going to pick it up, but Bipo put a lot of practice into it, and he knows he can win a lot of lanes and influence the map with this pick. So there's always champions that he likes. You know, he likes playing Cyan, pushing out the wave, ulting bot lane, and guess what? Other champion can do that. You know, who can win the lane against something like a cannon, and then actually run to the bot lane at the same time. Not many champions.
Not many champions can do that. Very excited for the future in that regard. What is up with the majors being played bot lane instead of traditional AD carries? Are just AD carries just not as good anymore due to the recent changes again?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing from my players, the AD carries are not too hot right now. So that's great meta for G2, right? And I hear that Cassio is on the rise. Rise is on the rise. Yasuo seems pretty strong as well, especially when Perks is playing it. So, yeah.
Okay, so should we expect Reckless to play mage champions again, or what's going to be the situation there?
Probably a mix. I think there's still a few AD carries that are really good. Xayah, Lucian, Kai'Sa, Ezreal can be played at times. So Draven is still fine. Sivir is still okay. You just need to be a little bit careful here and there. So there are still champions that AD carries that are good. It's just, there are a lot of mages right now that are viable and coexisting with the AD carries.
So right now it seems though as if Fnatic is more fighting for second place rather than trying to or defending second place rather than attacking first. Given the recent results and just the level of play, you guys have to play G2 of course next week. What are your immediate thoughts on that upcoming matchup?
Just make it a bloodbath and flip a coin. They will flip the coin and we might just flip it with them. I don't think that playing cool and collected and calm will work with them. I just think just like last time, we're just gonna play the game and then see if we can take it home.
So will it be decided by 10 minutes effectively? Is that kind of going to be the notion of the game?
Well, you're giving it a lot of time. I think maybe 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, fair. What do you make of Splyce, since they are, of course, your closest competitor right now?
I think they're quite interesting because their macro is very poor, actually. I don't know if I think they're the second best team in Europe right now, actually. But I think it's more because of Origen and us just crumbling right now the last few weeks since Rift Rivals. And then the question is, will Origen get their form back, and will Splyce keep their form or actually improve? But yeah, when I scout Splyce, I'm like, okay, this should be really easy to play against because they're very straightforward in how they play. So there's anything crazy that you can expect from them, other than like Xerxes champion pool. But in terms of gameplay, you know what's going to happen every game, and they are very consistent with it.
Yeah, 35-minute marks and all that kind of stuff, and then like getting advantages early, then mid game is kind of and then late game.
Yeah, the strategy is basically take Gathering Storm when you play against Splyce. That is the meme in our team at least, and it pretty much always holds true because even when they were stomping us 2 weeks ago, it still took them 40 minutes, I think 42 minutes to end the game. Yeah,
of course there were like mishaps there that shouldn't be happening, but you know it is very consistent. I have to agree that it's a bit of a consistent meme. So what do you make of Origen then in regards to them? Because obviously they went just 0-2. They might even fall out of playoffs contention if the trend continues there. That's a worrying trend for the LEC in general, it seems almost like, because you guys are not playing up to your own standards. Origen isn't. You're not too convinced on Splyce. Schalke is kind of mixy. It feels like besides G2, there's no real strong team from EU right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know what's happening with Origen because that's the team you would look at as being always stable and very secure in the way they play the game, and that there's very little room for big swings because they're just that calm and collected. Like if you look at a team like us, like we will take a few fights that maybe we shouldn't win, but we're saying we can execute it, and we will lose games because of that. But I don't think that Origen is that kind of team. So on the one hand, it's really weird. On the other hand, I'm also really happy because for Worlds qualification, Origen doing as poorly as possible is fantastic.
It's good for you guys, for sure. You mentioned that this started happening since Rift Rivals. Did you want to imply that was partially, or was there like a reason tied to that, or is that just coincidence?
No, I think us losing to Splyce had a lot to do with, had something to do with Rift Rivals because we did not know anything about Qiyana. We were traveling and playing in NA solo queue when the new patch hit. So we did not really have a good idea of what Qiyana was doing, and if you rewatch the game, you can tell that at least 4 of our players did in fact not know what spells he did, and what combos he could do, the amount of damage output. So I attribute that a lot to our loss. But I don't think that the Rogue loss or the Misfits loss or us playing poorly against Origen had any. It was because of Rift Rivals. We're just playing poorly because we're playing poorly, and there's no excuse there.
But is there like no reasoning behind it? Can't you like decipher a bit of why the quality is just poorer than usual?
No, I cannot. No, I really cannot, and I cannot blame it on one specific thing or on Rift Rivals or on traveling. It's just sometimes you have a little bit of a slump, and then a good team will always fight themselves out of it.
Right, and that's of course the intention for Fnatic. So yeah, with the LEC being kind of in a weird mix, is that also maybe a bit of a bad message internationally though?
I think the teams that will be sent to Worlds from Europe will be very solid at that time, and it doesn't matter if that's Fnatic, Origen, Splyce. So I don't think it's something that people have to worry about right now. If anything, I would say enjoy the ride, because I think the standings are mixing up so much, and like suddenly there's a race between Splyce and Fnatic, which I think 2-3 weeks ago there was not even a shred of doubt that Splyce could get anywhere near us. And then you see Origen faltering. Are they even going to make playoffs? So I just think it's probably a lot of fun for the viewers.
I mean, it is a lot of fun for a general viewer, of course, if you're a fan of a specific team that is faltering. It's not as much fun, but that's how it goes. We already have the G2 game covered. Are you still confident that you guys will finish second place, or is that just not in your mind right now, and do you just want to go from game to game?
Yeah, I'm not super confident. That's more because we have G2 ahead of us, and we're even with Splyce. So let's say we're 40-60. Maybe we're 30-70 at this stage. It depends how our week of practice goes. Then that we might fall one game behind Splyce, and then the week after that, 2 weeks after that, we play Splyce, and that's just going to be the important one. And if neither team drops a game, then I guess the winner of that one. I mean, if we win, we get a tiebreaker, and if we win it, we will also probably win a tiebreaker. But if we just lose it, we lose it, right? So it's more making sure we do want to aim for top 2, but one game at a time, because we cannot drop any games until we meet Splyce.
That's fair. That's fair. Is there anything you would like to say to the Fnatic fans out there?
Yeah, I always want to thank you and stay strong. We have a bit of a slump, admittedly, but we'll wake up and work our ways out of it, because that's what good teams do.
That's what good teams do, and a hashtag for the people that watch until the end.
Hashtag that's what good teams do.
Hashtag that's what good teams do. Let's go with that. Of course, make sure to follow Youngbuck on Twitter. And this was Darius from the Shotcaller, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. We'd especially like to thank Krzysztof Bujnovic, Thomas Göttel, Etienne, Erich Althaus, Lukas Legal, Lazy Raven, Lama Vyuta, and Adam Novosviat for your very special support, and of course also all the people whose names you see scrolling past you. Without you guys, we would have closed down probably a while ago. So thank you so much for your help. Thank you.